Hello, hello, and welcome along to episode 10 of Freedom Chasers. It's been a while, but we're back and better than ever. If you're wondering where we've been for the last month, just blame Jack. It was definitely all his fault. It was totally mine and Josh's. We went on holiday. Not for a whole month, but just we had things to do. Anyway, it was a long, long time ago, but I might jog your memories by telling you that last episode was called Pins. Or Madam Pins, if you think back to it. Can anybody tell me where we began last episode? That's always the hardest part of the recap.
We began...
I'm gonna go with in the tavern.
Yeah. What's the tavern called? Anyone?
Silver pony.
A silver pony. Okay, good.
That's
We're remembering that. And you guys had a little sort of discussion, didn't you, about going to be nobles? And am I right in thinking William just booked it? Just left the room, left the building. Cool.
Yeah,
who followed him?
I did.
Okay, how did that go?
It went swimmingly. He confessed his life story to me, and then I dragged him inside and made him do it again.
Yeah, that's true. And he pretty much went, you know how it goes.
Yeah, I did the TLDR
okay.
version. No one wants all the details.
Pretty much what was revealed is that William was born out of wedlock to a man that didn't stick around. And his mother was not particularly nice to him after discovering about his magic. That's pretty much all you revealed, really, I think. Perhaps you had now been disowned?
I think I basically just alluded to the fact that his home life was pretty shitty and abusive, and so when he finally got the courage to run away.
Mm-hmm. And then you guys comforted him. And there was a bath? Is that right? No, that already happened. That already happened. The bath had already happened, right?
No.
No.
Oh, no, it was a bath? Okay, cool. That was a drama in and of itself. A journey, in fact, some might say. And yeah, you all had a little wash, and then you got taken by Henson's errand boy, a very handsome man. Anyone remember his name?
Eric.
Jackson.
I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Yep, that's the one. And he took you up to the town. On the way, you heard a little snippet of a song. I don't remember anybody either remember the snippet or what it was about?
Yeah, it went like this. We belong together, and Galinda helped it come true.
No, it went nothing like that at all. In fact, it wasn't even slightly like that. Anybody who actually wants to give me a serious attempt, remember anything about it or any of the details? Song. If it helps, it was alluding to Quick.
Yeah, it went like this.
No, it didn't, Josh.
Quick on his feet, good with his mind, noble boy who got left behind.
There we go. Look at that. Go on, Bumpkin. Amassing the inspiration. And he asked you to do something for him. What did he ask you to do?
Take something to his mate.
Yeah. Samson, the young boy, who works in the bakery. Works is a really strong word. His mother runs the bakery. And what did his mother tell you about the two boys? Why were they friends?
They grew up together.
I did until Quick was moved to the lower outer part of the city. You got some cupcakes. Were they good?
There were drugs.
They were extremely good.
They were drugs, and they were very good. Then you went to Madam Pins. What did you find out about Madam Pins's friend? Not apprentice, the man who ran the place, who sort of looked after the place. What was going on with him?
Gay.
Yes, gay with who?
With Jackson.
With Jackson, that's it. Jackson and Isaac are indeed an item. You met a couple of unusually magically gifted assistants. And then you guys got some outfits. And then you went down to Silver Pony, got some lunch, and at the end of your lunch in the Silver Pony is where we will resume. Does anybody have any questions, concerns, trials, tribulations, or anything else they would like to contribute before we begin?
I'll clarify one thing. Jackson Sampson's is like they're a confirmed item and people know about it, or is it just like they're kind of
confirmed item, people know about it. Okay. There is a little bit of maybe, one's a shopkeeper, the other one is a nobleman's bodyguard, so they are of relatively similar station. But there have been some questions raised, mostly because Jackson is seen as Henson's man. And yet his loyalties are obviously as much to Isaac. And
also Isaac is punching down, obviously.
Is he? I don't know about that.
Oh, I absolutely do.
I mean, Jackson's a bit more in servant gear, but okay. Isaac's punching down. Love that. He's got good eyes, doesn't he? Very good eyes.
Yeah, he's got really nice eyelashes.
Yes. Anyway, that aside, cool. At the end of your lunch in the Silver Pony, Jackson will tell you to get on ready in your simpler outfits. So these would be your brown and whites, they're called in the town. Your simple shirt, your breeches, your boots, because it'll be gaming time. He tells you that'll be gaming time.
What
gaming
sort
time?
of games?
I would expect that there would be some dicing, a few card games if you know them. Perhaps you might play on the spin table. There's usually a fair bit of dagger throwing, and there's duck launching, and then there's the counterweight jump. There's
Can we go duck launching?
You don't know duck launching. It's quite simple. Wooden duck, bucket.
That's a relief.
Yeah, you start you hold it here next to your chest, and you just sort of, as if you were launching a bird to fly. You've released doves before, I'm sure. And so, well, perhaps not, I guess. No. Well, if you were to imagine that you've got a dove, and you would be holding a captive close to your heart, and then you were to release it, you would, of course, make this sort of action. You understand? So you take your wooden duck and you release it, and then you see if you can get it in the bucket. And
You're releasing it like a dove. Why is it a duck?
You raise a fine point. I wouldn't ask that today at the gaming table. Perhaps leave that for a later post-dinner conversation. Perhaps in a poetry reading or something. Anyway, there's counterweight jump. There might be tassels. I think there'll probably be tassels today. And one for a couple of you that you might be particularly good at is it's simply called Stay Astride. Very interesting game. They've the Lord has rigged up a sort of wooden horse that does all sorts of bucking around, and you just have to stay on as long as you can. An excellent game after a few wines. Any questions?
Quite a few games. Is this related to some sort of event, or just is this guys what you do?
Oh no, this is the gaming halls. It's an afternoon of gaming. The evening games are mostly only reduced to those that are gambling. So there's dragon chess. There's a couple of card games. There's some dicing games. Very occasionally there'll be a sort of couple of other gambling betting games related to monies. There's stones as well, I should say. But no, in the afternoon, a bit more activity, more action going on. Yes. The gaming hall is really the only place that idle nobles have to keep themselves occupied throughout the day when not at court.
I don't think we have much money to gamble with.
Ah, yes, Henson did anticipate that. Fear not. This afternoon, you shouldn't need to gamble much at all. This evening, if there are any needs, he will have them seen to. But I imagine many people will be willing to stake you a bet based on your novelty factor.
What, just like give us money so that we can play?
Not perhaps give you money so that you can play, but perhaps place their money in your stead, and if you win, they will gain momentarily. A bit like betting on a prize horse.
Yeah.
Lovely comparison.
Sorry. But true.
Maybe the horse should get the money.
What need has a horse for money? Oh, I see. We're still on the comparison. It sits awkwardly for a moment.
Yeah, I'm just messing with you, mate. I'm just messing with you.
No problem. No problem at all. Shall we?
Yeah, I guess.
Sorry, did you ask a question, Elora?
No, I just said I suppose we shall.
Okay. It's just Josh opened his mouth twice to speak, but didn't unmute, and then I didn't know what was going on. Cool. Okay, very good. No, you just sort of made a motion to talk twice, but then didn't. Okay, so yeah, he will lead you up to the keep. The keep in Norvinia is, maybe I will put it to the group first of all. Some bonus points. If you can tell me who the Lord and Lady of the keep are. Is it on out? Probably somewhere, right?
Lord
Isn't the
Martin and
lady
Lady
le-
Christina.
You got their first names? Holy shit, okay, that was impressive. Lord and Lady Rolmsford is what I was expecting. But that was one level further.
We're on a first name basis. Okay.
Yes, indeed. Lord Martin and Lady Christina. Wonderful. I've just read your sentence, Paris. That is just a debacle of all sorts. Never mind it. Yeah, so you can head up to the keep, and you see these sort of huge pair of grand doors before a long entrance hall, or what is actually known more colloquially as the gaming hall. And Henson will sort of greet you just outside, and say, "My, you're looking good. It's an improvement."
Oh, that was the point, wasn't it?
Yes, but still, you're looking unique and wonderful. I hope you enjoy yourselves today. And, I hope you get plenty of work done.
Is he eyeing anyone in particular when he says that? Like,
no,
you know,
he's hoping the four of you just remember
Okay.
that you have a task.
I've been trying to find that guy's name in the notes for a long time, and I still can't find it.
Which guy's name? The guy you're meant to be following?
Yeah.
Gilocco. Gilocco. Jilocco. Gilocco.
Such a Star Wars name, man.
Said this about my names before. I don't do the Star Wars, so I just cannot relate.
Like I said, Star Wars, and meanwhile, my mind's going like the cats, Jellicoe cats.
He's not a cat, I can promise you that. And so he will lead you on into the gaming hall. Woo!
Whoa, Russian roulette.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's hard to find. This
What
guy.
on earth is this?
Don't worry,
game?
this guy's got no head. So I would worry less about the gaming table and more about the fact he's missing a head. Look, gaming tables and nobles are not the easiest thing to find. You'll just have to settle for this is a nice little picture.
That was awesome.
This poor woman sat on the floor.
Yes, let us. Well, you know what? Now I have to show stream the stupid AI art. It was the best I could do, right? I did.
No,
try
it's
for,
awesome.
I tried
What
for
are
a
you
long
talking
time,
about?
but it wasn't particularly successful.
No, yeah, it does have issues. I tried to get with a character with a Ouija board, and it's surprising I can't do the alphabet or like numbers in order. It's like 1, 2, 7, 8.
Yep. But alas, as you arrive, you will see various games going on. But before anything else, your mind will immediately be taken by two gentlemen in the very center of the room, who are standing either side of what looks to be a sort of flat plank of wood. And you will see that one side is weighted down by one gentleman's foot, and the other one is raised up in the air about 3 or 4 feet. And so the moments after you enter, one of them leaps back onto it, and as he comes down at the other one, so shoots up in the air. And you will see above them, right at the top, dangling down from the ceiling, are what looks like 2 bells that they keep reaching up for to try and ring. It's pretty obvious how you win that game. But as soon as you guys come in, there is a sudden silence. One guy forgets to jump on the board, and the other one just sort of clonks down. And everyone in the room turns to you. Silence, and then haltingly, the sort of bard then begins to play again. Henson walks in behind you, but acts as if he doesn't know you.
I'm gonna turn to everyone and speak quite quietly. Should we divide and conquer?
I will look around. Do I see anybody who looks like our guy?
Give me a perception check. But as you are looking around, a gentleman, a human, in a very fancy dark purple and bright yellow doublet, comes up to you and sort of smokes you a bow. He bends very low and he says, "I don't believe we've had the pleasure. Baronet Hewlin." You are?
William.
And you? And he looks to Weary.
I go by many names, but those who are my friends can call me Weary, and I hope to count you as one of them, sir.
Right, yes. Weary. And you, and looks to both Dinari and Anivari, must be Tiefling warrior ladies that we've heard about.
You haven't heard a name?
Sorry, what did you say, Bumpkin?
I said, you haven't heard a name.
No. No, I can't say that I have, but we were informed by... Well, there were 2 parties. There were some whispers that stated that some rather impressive female tiefling warriors were going to be attending the gaming hall in the company of some other gentlemen. And the other that a good-for-nothing adventuring party were going to roll into the gaming hall like they belonged there.
I wonder who said that. I tried to say, like, under my breath, but probably say a little too loudly.
He smiles, and I believe that would be my mother.
No, she's lovely.
Ah!
My eyes go wide.
Don't worry, we all stomach familial issues for the sake of an inheritance, don't we? Come, let me introduce you to some of the gaming tables. What was your perception check, Elora?
10.
Okay. With a 10, you look around and you see a lot of commotion, a lot of people sort of angling to look at you. But you are very distracted by a woman. She has white hair right down to her hips, and it's left loose. Everybody else's hair is sort of tied up, but hers is left loose. She has beautiful, bright blue eyes and a shapely face, and is wearing a sort of what do you call it? Not off the shoulder, but no strapless, if you will, dress. Very low cut, and at the center, sort of right between her breasts, is this large red ruby-like gem that is a rose that seems to be holding the entire outfit together. And then this deep blue velvet dress just flows straight down to the ground. Everybody else here is wearing something a little more practical for gaming, and she just looks like regal as you like. And as your eyes sort of catch on hers, she gives you a little smile, and she comes over and... I've heard that you're quite interesting company. Have you? And I did catch a name. Which one of you is Anivari and which one of you is Dinari?
Anivari.
Pleasure.
Dinari.
Amacinth. At your service. Can I get you a drink?
Sure.
Come. Let us leave these prattling idiots and their phallus measuring tendencies to themselves. We'll get ourselves something finer to be partaking in. And she sort of hails a servant and comes over with some what looks like sort of an iced wine in very, very small glasses. And he also has this sort of large fluted glass with what looks like a sort of orange drink in it. She says, do you partake or would you prefer some juice?
I'll try some.
Good.
How strong are these drinks? I assume that one of them is alcoholic.
Yes, so the iced wine is the alcoholic one, and the juice is not. You don't know, but you would guess, given the number of guests and the time of day, they're probably not particularly strong.
No, I'll take one.
And indeed, to your hardy, toughened bodies, you will barely notice that there is any alcohol in them at all. They're a very pale wine. Weary and William, you will be approached by a servant very soon, who will offer you two goblets, in fact, of a dark red wine. And it's about half full, and he has a pitcher of water. And after he hands you the glass of wine, he sort of offers the water to ask you how much water you would like in your wine. So as to water it down so you can drink for the rest of the day. You're muted. And I don't speak sign language.
You're meant to lip read. I will take a goblet, but I'll take no water. But I also won't drink.
Okay. And Weary?
I'll go into the I'll go in close to the servant and be like, "Hey, what's the normal amount of water?"
He just smiles, nods, says nothing, and pours water in to the glass about 3/4 full. And then
Okay.
moves away.
Cheers, mate.
He sort of nods to you and walks away with a little smile on his face. Yeah, as our ladies are led to the bar, what are you doing?
Can we get quick spelling on Lady Genevieve's son and Amethyst?
So you have Amacinth, which is spelled like this. It is very obvious that she is Kalashtar. And you have Baronet Hulin, who is the son of Lady Genevieve.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Ladies, as you are,
Might not be a bad thing.
as you're at the bar, and being offered a drink, you see Amacinth is sort of challenging anybody to come up and be anything other than nice. And one other girl does approach you. She sort of looks over a couple of times, a little unsure, and then she will come over to you, Dinari, and say, may I join you?
Yeah?
My name's Fiona.
Dinari.
Yes.
Reach out to shake a hand.
Do you know that name? Is that one of
Yes,
the
so this is
girls?
the female sort of very close friend of Henson that he sort of grew up with, who he saw like a sister figure. It's his sister's best friend. And Fiona was the one who most recently was pursued by a gentleman. And indeed, when she approaches, a little further behind, you see somebody sort of watching her. And he's wearing sort of this very unusual long purple robe with like gaudy gold on it. He's got chains from hanging around his neck. He's got jewelry on his fingers. He doesn't fit in here at all. And as Fiona approaches you, he sort of will wander after her and come over and... Well, I see we've got somebody new here. Well, my name is Jaloko. He gives you a sort
Pleasure.
of as he gives you a bow, he sort of raises his hand up, and this sort of spiral of blue and yellow lights sort of follow his hand as he moves it round. And he smiles at you. And it is so wonderful to have some truly beautiful women here.
Not happy with the previous?
Ah, well, let's just say that I like a little spice in my wine.
That sounds gross.
I was merely complimenting you on your exotic features, but alas.
It's not a compliment.
Ah, well, perhaps the language barrier. I apologize if any offense I have caused.
Do I sound not well spoke?
Ah, no, the language barrier is mine. I am still learning the ways of the courtly wording. In my home tongue, we speak the languages of the flames and the water. This tongue is foreign to mine.
Do I know what language he's referring to when he says flames and water?
Give me a
History. It's a 4.
Okay. Obviously, you get the idea that he's referring to something a little more unusual, a little more exotic. But as to what that is, you're not sure.
Mm. I guess with that, my eyebrows will perk up a little bit, and I'd say this language sounds far more exotic than anything I can offer. Pray tell.
Ah, Faronkar. I speak the language given to us by those elementals that came before. I believe in your tongue it is called primordial, though there are many dialects. Do you intend to do the entire session in mime, Josh?
All I said was, I know Inferno. I don't think you guys need
Great.
to know I said
I just see... It's distracting, all right? He said Feronkar was the only sentence he said in his language. And he does not reveal what that means. As you are speaking to him, a man sort of comes and cuts him off. Sort of, it's bullshit. It's impolite even by the rough standards of common folk. This gentleman comes and sort of positions himself, literally standing directly in front of Jinogo, and turns to the two of you and says, "Well, I'm sure you'll be interested in gaming, won't you? Solomon at your service. Come, we were just about to we were just about to play some games." And he sort of looks around as if trying to decide which table to approach. And it's very obvious that he had no plans to game at anything particular. He is just trying to extract you from Jinoko's service. Give me an insight check, the two of you, please. And while that's happening, Weary and William, the Baronet will show you to different gaming tables, and he will say to you, do you game at all?
Not yet.
Oh,
Do you have a preference?
I do, though it is a game of risk and reward.
And isn't that all games?
I suppose in some ways. Just say I like my games balanced on the finest at knife edges. And I'll show you.
I'll follow.
And he guides you to a table, which was previously empty. And you will see as he sits that two gentlemen immediately come and sit next to him. Both of them are elves, very finely dressed, and a little dangerous looking. Very sharp-featured. And you will notice as well that all three of them wear black with silver. Silver at their fingers. They're a little aristocratic, and they will ask you, do you carry a dagger?
No. I do not.
Well, mine will
Don't
suffice.
find the need, mate.
And he sort of twists his dagger and then places it with the hilt on the table. And he puts his finger on the very tip of the dagger. This is how we play. And he will show you as he lets go. The elf to his right will immediately put his finger on the blade before it falls. On the point of the blade to hold it in place. And then the next elf will put his finger on the point of the blade before it falls when he releases. And then they begin very slowly to gesture for Weary, for you to then take the next point, and he lets it go and allows you to put your finger on the blade.
Alright.
And then, Weary, obviously, you will pass to William.
I William, lock in.
My eyes go from Weary to his now pierced finger.
No one has broken skin. They're just holding.
Oh.
They're just holding the point of they're holding the dagger still.
Okay. Then I guess I'll take over then. I was about to make various comments about diseases, but if no one's swapping blood.
And then the baronet will look at you, and the loser is the first to let the blade fall, or the first to bleed. And with that, he waits for you to remove your finger.
Well, I kind of look at him quizzically, and this. I'm sorry. I'm trying to work out where the fun begins in this.
Well, as I said, it's the risk
Forgive me,
of the reward.
I'm not used to these.
Perhaps we will demonstrate the game without you joining in for a moment. You can decide whether you think it looks fun.
Very well.
And he gestures for you to and immediately his finger is there. And then the three of them begin to play, just the three of them. And they sort of barely touch the blade. And it's falling right towards the table, and then they just giving it just enough of a touch to mean the next one has to go. They're obviously played this a lot and are very skilled as they sort of just tap the blade ever so slightly one way or the other. You see the dagger falling and spinning in various directions. And then one of the elves gets it wrong. And you see his sort of a large cut appear all the way up the side of his finger as he sort of catches this. And the baronet sort of snickers a little bit. Someone's got to lose eventually. Care for a round?
I give her like a gentle smile. I think that's probably as much fun for me today. Perhaps you could show me some of the other games.
He holds your gaze for just a moment too long without saying anything. As if making a point. Give me an insight check. Weary, you can give me an insight check if you like. I'm not sure it's Weary's expertise in this moment, but...
Nah,
I
it
would
doesn't
like to
feel right.
use a card.
Mm-hmm.
I'll use a d6.
Yeah, feeling so fly. You must endure the presence of a few caterpillars if you wish to become acquainted with the butterflies. What an apt little phrase right now.
So true.
17.
Okay. He's sort of... You can see he's trying to make you feel like you're a bit of a wimp, like you've backed out. But there is a moment where he also seems to admire your ability to just make a choice.
The look in my eye, if he wants to make an insight check, is one of kind of like... It's kind of the look that like a very gentle parent would give to their child, like, okay, it's time to like move on and go now. It's very like... It's very non-threatening, but very firm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he will lead you to a couple of the card games, the dice games, to sort of tell you what each of these are as he guides you round. You will note that various people that you approach seem a little afraid of the baronet's cronies. And almost everyone here is dressed in brown and white, which is quite literally brown trousers, white shirt. The exceptions are pretty much mostly the people that have greeted you, and you're definitely seeing two sides drawn. So you have Amacinth, who seems to get on very well when they pass. Amacinth and the Baronet are obviously very well acquainted and quite close. The hangers-on of the Baronet are the elves in their black and silver. And Amacinth has one lady who seems to follow her, who later on will introduce herself as Massalina. Massalina is also a Kalishtar. And on the other side, you will see that there is Fiona, a gentleman called Solomon, who seems a little rude, but determined to sort of welcome people into the fold. And you'll also be, when the four of you sort of are grouped together for a brief moment, a pair of elves will come over and introduce themselves as Dorian and Shara. Dorian and Shara are brother and sister. They're both high elves. They are very, very beautiful. And they're wearing the standard brown and whites. But they seem a bit more relaxed and jovial than the rest. And one of them turns to you, and I don't mean to be rude. I'm merely curious. From where do you hail? Oh, that was completely unintentional. Well, that's good.
Where do I hail?
He sort of, as you go to answer, he sort of smiles indulgently, but it's quite clear he's not asking you.
Oh. Well, if I know that, then I won't.
You do very quickly realize he's asking the tieflings.
Of course.
Sorry, wait, he's asking us?
Yes. Where are you from?
Ooh, take a wild guess. Apparently, I appear to be quite exotic around here.
Well, that is my question. I know that many tieflings find home in Astrium. But it strikes me that that's not your heritage. You seem a little more, you don't seem to have as much of a stick up your ass, if I'm honest. So...
I like you.
I thought perhaps you might come from elsewhere. Have you come from overseas?
No. I assume that Durban is like a 2-day walk at most, like just down.
No,
from here.
it's
Is it?
It's
a couple
it's
days.
83 miles, so a 2-day ride, but a 5 or 6 day walk. Yeah.
Okay.
But if you mention Durban, he'll know straight away. Yeah, my father has some business up there actually. Boats.
Does he?
Yes, he's a harbour master. It's nothing particularly. He has a few different investments at harbours. It's really very boring. What do your family do?
I hate to say what we do isn't nearly as interesting as that, but equally as boring.
You're right. We shouldn't be talking business. And yourself? Looks to Anivari. Where do you come from? Do you? Oh, you probably get that question way more than you'd like. Forgive me. I am very ill-educated. But myself and Shara, obviously brother and sister. How did you two meet?
We got run out of town. It was lovely.
Ah, classic. Of course. Did you have fun on the way?
Honestly,
Oh, yeah.
kind of.
That's all that matters. They ran you out of town. They're clearly ill-educated and uninteresting. So, do you game?
Depends on what the game is.
Willing to learn.
I prefer the throwing games, and I've heard you're somewhat trained in arts martial, so perhaps you'll excel at them. Axe throwing's a little crass, in my opinion, but dagger throwing, or there is, of course, the duck. And he sort of gives a little smile at Fiona as he says this, and you see she gives like this little clap and a little smile as she's very excited about. Excuse me, I'm bleeding. She's very excited about playing with ducks. I scratched my leg because it was itchy, and then I've obviously caught something because now I've just got a hand going in blood. How very exciting. Would you like to play Release the Duck, or I think it's actually. Did I say release of the duck or flight of the duck? The couple.
Launch. Something about
Launch
launching.
the duck. That's the right one. Yes, indeed. I've changed tab.
Who was it who was talking to us? Was it,
So this is two elves who are doing most
It
of the
was
talking. Dorian and Shara, the brother and sister.
Okay.
So in your company at the moment are Dorian, Shara, Fiona, Solomon, and then sort of a little further away is Jaloko, who is the person you're tasked to follow. And then you've got Amacinth, who said very little since the elves arrived, and you get the impression she doesn't like them and they don't like her.
I could launch some ducks, probably.
Oh, can we? Fiona sort of asks. Oh, it's my favorite game. Every time. I'm absolutely terrible at it.
You know, as much as I'd love to participate in a game, I kind of was in the middle of a conversation, and I'll look over to Jaloko to see what's happening, because someone's jutting from him, right?
Yeah, Solomon stepped in the way, yeah. Solomon says, "Oh, sorry, you seem to have something in your hair." And as he moves over, he'll just say very quietly, "You really don't want to mix with him."
I can be the judge of that myself.
Very well. And as soon as you say that, he sort of backs off and steps to the side. When he steps aside and Jaloko moves forward, Dorian, Shara, and Solomon all sort of move a little way away. They're still willing to come and game if Anivari is interested, especially. But you see, they really don't want to even be seen, really, in the company of Jaloko.
Well, let's all figure out this duck launch thing, shall we?
Yeah, let's go. And Fiona will come over with you, and very sort of reluctantly, the twins, sort of looking back a little bit at Dinari a couple of times, will then go over. As they're passing Weary and William, they will ask you if you would like to partake too.
I'll give a go at the dagger throwing.
I want to stay and continue talking to Marinette. So I'll look to Anivari and just shake my head slightly.
Weary, will you go for duck launching, or are you just going to head over to the dagger throwing to see who's there?
I'll just, you know, what is it? Mingle.
You're going to mingle, okay.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, over at the dagger throwing, there's currently two men, Castian and Zoron. They will introduce themselves. They're elves. They're wood elves, and they seem to be being very competitive right now. Just the two of them. There is a very soft-spoken, younger human male standing a little back from them, sort of very gently, like, you know, it's only 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We don't have to declare a victor right now. We can just enjoy the game. Like, come on, we're here to have fun. And they both completely ignore him and continue their argument.
I'll just sidle up next to this, soft-spoken guy, and I'll just watch the mayhem occur and then if I get a chance, I'll love to play. But
he turns to you a couple of times and makes a little comment about the game. These two just always at each other's throats. I'm meant to be out as a 3 today. They're escorting me, if I'm honest. Oh, I'm so sorry. I haven't introduced myself. My name's Remfrey. You are?
lovely to meet you, Renfrey. My friends call me Weary, and I hope to count you as one of them.
Oh, that would be wonderful. He gives a little sort of cocks his head a little bit and looks at you in a little like he's sizing you up, I guess.
Yeah.
And then he just gives you a smile, and I'm sure we will be friends if you can tolerate these two arseholes. Hey! You two, we have company. Why don't you let our new friend Weary take a turn? Both of the elves look at you and Weary. How came you by that name?
Yes. Well, I was a merchant sailor. Everyone gets a nickname.
And you were very tired at the time, I guess.
Something like that.
Anivari, as you head over to what is a sort of like a long, thin wooden room, effectively, you will be handed a wooden duck, and they sort of gesture and, well, ladies first, of course. Yourself and then Fiona, perhaps. There's a little bucket just over there. And then you'll note that they take two very, very long sticks. The bucket is hanging from a hook, and the twins, Dorian and Shara, with their very long sticks, will try and prevent you from getting it in the bucket while you throw it. If you would like to give me an athletics or acrobatics check, your choice. Sorry, it's acrobatics or athletics or sleight of hand, actually, your choice, sorry.
Still wonder which one it could be.
I don't know. Maybe you want to fling it while not looking and look really cool.
Dirty 20.
20. You sort of launch it out and it sort of bounces right on the rim and falls on into the bucket. Beginner's luck, Fiona says. And then she gives it a clap and she's like, my turn. And then she comes up and she sort of goes, and it is pathetic and most noble woman. Like, it doesn't even get halfway down the hall. And she sort of, oh, that went quite far. Great. Well, we can't all, maybe I should start swinging a sword, build up some muscle. Your turn. And she hands it a shower. And now she sort of immediately like grabs a stick. This is my favorite bit. And she gives one stick to you, Anivari, and she grabs the other. She's like, we're going to get the bucket out the way. So we'll go left. But she says it like really loud, like the whole room has heard her whisper, we'll go left. But she's awfully excitable and excited. While you're, we'll just see whether you won. You did win. With a 19, you are just about able to knock the bucket out the way, and it bounced on the outside, and Shara said, well, never mind, there's always round two. And the four of you sort of playing will engage in some light chatter. Solomon has come to stand with you as well, so there's technically 5 of you, but he's not playing. Dinari, you find yourself in the company of Jaloko, Amacinth, and Massalina. There's a typo in Massalina's name, by the way. It's not Massaslina. And Jaloko sort of looks at you and... You asked about my homeland. Perhaps I can ask about yours.
As I said before, it's quite boring. Honestly, very unassuming. I think you should start first.
I wasn't party to that discussion. My family...
Sorry.
My family come from the homeland. It's far from here. In the rich land of Beldania. It is a place for Genasi. Though, I am not Genasi. But my father had a spirit that belonged in the volcanoes, the homeland. And so, when it came my time to seek my spirit, I found one that likes to travel. That of the air. So, travel I do. And I found myself here. Such a wonderful place it is.
Sorry, I'm just going to ask this above table real quick. I have no idea what the Kalashtar are. I tried quickly looking up. There's something to do with spirits. It seems related,
so basically each Kalashtar bonds with a spirit for life. That spirit is normally a sort of a natural spirit of some element of nature. So it could be a river spirit, it could be a volcano spirit, it could be a mountain spirit, it could be a spirit of grass. But you can also, you wouldn't be expected to know this in character either. So that's definitely a conversation you could engage with him with, and he will tell you all about how this comes to be, and that volcano spirits have, they can be quite angry, and he will sort of wince a couple of times when talking about his father, and then he will tell you that air spirits are flighty, of course, and mine is that of a cirrus cloud, so believes in floating whichever way the wind blows. So when the wind blows eastwards, then it's time to move on, and And so I find myself from place to place and travel to travel, and that is how the spirit comes in. And but the heritage of the Kalashtar is many and different. Some of us bond differently. He goes a little quiet.
Does this mean that? Oh.
And you will see Amacinth sort of give him a shake of the head. She is not impressed with him turning the conversation to her spirit.
Oh.
She'll sort of turn.
It's very obvious she's uncomfortable with this, right?
She is angry. And she looks to you and she says quite pointedly, some of us prefer to not be prey to whichever way the wind blows. So we carve out a life for ourselves, and our spirit is part of that, but beholden to us. I am not ashamed of it.
Oh, there's shame involved? Why be shamed for such a thing?
Loco believes that we should all be free and flighty and wander the land like nomads, beholden to whatever the nature spirit within us feels. Just because some of us bonded to a cloud. Some of us, I have a water ewer in my room. The spirit is quite happy when I take a bath. That will have to do. The impression you get, and you will see from Marcelina, who sort of mediates a little bit, and she leans over and she's very softly spoken, and it's quite obvious that Amacinth is her leader, or the person she's definitely one of Amacinth's cronies, but she's trying to find some middle ground with you, and she just says, some of the Kalashtar believe that they should rule their spirits and they should be the ones in control. And some believe that the spirit should rule, and some believe that it should be a symbiotic relationship. It's a heated topic in the Kalashtar heritage, and really not of something that should be argued about in front of others who don't have to deal with these problems. I'm so sorry.
Oh, well, I guess my apologies. I didn't mean for my probing to delve into something so sensitive.
They would argue at any excuse whatsoever.
I just gave them a reason.
You gave us a reason for something interesting. It is lovely to have new company here. Though, I must say, you seem a little unfamiliar with courtly life.
What was your first clue?
The drinks.
I do like a... Just...
Yeah, she sort of looks over at how you're holding your wine glass, and she sort of very delicately got hers like tilted ever so slightly to the side and sort of almost between two fingers without even using her thumb. And it is incredibly obvious when you look around, and you'll see sort of wherever you look, you'll see Weary and Anivari, wherever they are, also just not quite looking like these sort of delicate fluted tea ladies, and instead just looking like people holding a drink. And she sort of just...
Should I like this? Like
No, you should remain as you. But it is clearly you weren't raised to this idiocy.
It's just so much under the table kind of things. You know what I mean?
She sort of giggles. But that's half the fun of it. We never see anybody, and you just thought you'd love to backstab them, and for them to know it, for you to know it. They can't do a thing about it.
Sorry, wait, one more time.
The most fun you can possibly have in the nobility is to completely turn on somebody, backstab them completely. And they know it's you, and you know they know it's you, but they can't do anything about it. I thrive for that.
Safe to say we have very different versions of fun.
Perhaps you will learn.
What happened to just staying me? Who says I want to partake in this?
Oh, well. You be you, and if that involves getting involved in the politics of the nobility or not. That's your choice. But what I'm saying is there's fun to be had. I'm weary. Give me a sleight of hand check. As you,
Alright.
very reluctantly, the two elves hand you over this little dagger, and they gesture towards the board, which is a long way away.
14.
As you hit the outer side of the board. If you imagine in darts, it's like the big section around the outside.
Yeah.
They sort of, well, you tried. So, why are you here? It is one of the dangerous-looking elves that. No, sorry, not dangerous-looking elves. They're just wood elves. Castian asks you, why are you here?
Oh, no. Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know I kind of don't look like I really belong here, but I got invited.
Is that so?
I did.
Who
Yeah.
invited you?
Who invited me? Oh, I don't quite remember. Maybe I have to ask one of my companions.
Diplomacy is not your forte.
No.
What is your forte, weary? What are you good at? It's not throwing knives.
Nah, it's not throwing knives. It's, well, a bit of, bit of protection here and there, bit of surveying the area, bit of making sure everything's going on good, and I can.
So Lady
Cook
Genevieve
up
was
a
right.
decent
You're
feast.
an adventurer.
I've done a bit of that in my past, yes.
Perhaps you should give it another go. And he hands you the dagger to give it another throw. Remfrey sort of looks at you. Have you been out in the wilds fighting monsters?
Well, I say, and this time I put my drink down, so I'll give it a good go. Let me throw the knife, and then I'll tell you. That's an 18.
Okay. It thunks a little closer to the bullseye, but not quite there. And they give
No.
they give nods, but they're not astounded. And Remfrey sort of looks like he's just hanging on your every word.
I've dealt with some creatures and monsters and ne'er-do-wells here and there.
Oh, tell us a tale of monsters. Tell us a tale of monsters. Give me an insight check, Mary.
Alright. Nah, 7.
Who wants a tale about monsters? And I'll let you think one up. William, have you stayed with the Baronet Hulin?
Yes.
Okay, and his two hangers-on, the elves, they have not given you their names.
I haven't asked.
No. But the Baronet sort of asks you if you play dragon chess. Yeah.
I have not had the pleasure.
Are you lying?
I am not lying. I've not had anyone to play with.
Bit of a complicated game to learn today. Perhaps we'll play bones. And he leans you over to a table where they're rolling bones. And the Baronet looks at you. And your companions. They're fish upon the beach.
Indeed. Certainly among this beach.
Well, obviously. You are not.
Well, obviously.
Why do you travel with them? What are they to you? Or you to them, for that matter?
They're my friends.
Ah. I suppose that black sheep do tend to congregate together. Why you?
Why me what?
In what manner are you akin to them? You have common ground with them, but why? You strike me as able to navigate the noble court well enough. For what possible reason would you demean yourself to that level?
I do not demean myself.
It wasn't a question. Well, I mean, it was, but it wasn't a question that you demean yourself. Why them? Why do you choose such company?
We have the same goals. And then I look to the two, because I'm assuming at this point we're sat down and his two cronies are stood behind him.
No, they're sat either side of him at the table.
That's either side. And then I will look to one and then the other. And I will just say, and you? I'm talking to those two.
Why do we question?
Affiliate yourself with the Baronet here. He has a polarizing aura about him.
That answers your question. The thrill. The game for the chase. He's an expert hunter. His prey rarely escapes. And we do enjoy the dangerous games that get played. If you would like at some point, we could show you to the mother house.
I'm assuming we're talking as we're playing. So as we do, I try to act as nonchalant as I can during this whole conversation because I don't want them to think they have like an upper hand on me or anything like that. And so like without looking, as I'm like, taking an interest in the game or my turn or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And what game is it that you take part in?
Some are simple games of chance and gambling, of course, but real games begin late at night. We like to push the boundaries.
Whose boundaries?
And at this point, the second elf has not spoken a word until this moment. He looks at you and says, "We like to play with magic. Do you play with magic?"
As sounds so creepy.
He does sound creepy. He's
Dirty.
very.
Do you play with magic? As he says that, like whatever. How do we play this game?
All you're playing is bones. So basically, you've got a series of bones,
Fantastic.
and each of them has sort of a face on one side. The more bones that you roll that land face up, the higher score you get.
Okay, as I go to collect the bones to then like pick up and then throw, my hand stops as he mentions magic, very briefly, and then I continue picking up the bones. In what capacity do you play with magic?
Magic can be used to compel, restrain, to lift, change one's mind, or enhance one's desires. It is merely the tool of the expert. You should visit the mother house.
What, sorry?
You should visit the mother house. We would show you how we play.
I look up from the game to look him in his eyes. What kind of what's his expression? Is this like a playful look? Is this like a hunger? Like
He looks charged.
This is like charged.
He's excited. He's driven. He's taken on a very intense look. And give me a perception check.
Yeah, I'd like to see. I don't know if this is to do with what I'm about to ask, but I'd also like to see how the baronet and the other guy react to him.
That's what you're looking for.
Okay, perfect. That's a dirty 20.
You will see the baronet sort of put his hand on the elf that is Tolkien's arm, sort of almost in an attempt to like say, whoa, we've just...
Ooh. Talking out of turn. And what's it called? The mother ship? The mother house?
The mothership! So he keeps mentioning you should visit the mother house. Give me a culture check.
That's a 15.
You don't have quite the same thing, but back in Durbin, you would know this as like the noble house. So it's the estate, effectively. The mother house is their estate.
Baronets.
No, it is definitely the elves' estate, not the baronets.
Oh, I suppose we want him to be connected to it. In any way.
It just seems like they're the ones who he's got involved with.
Interesting.
What was your perception check? Oh, you did see. You got. Yeah, you saw him put his hand on him.
Yeah, I'll look to Baronet and then go back to.
So Josh, just to make it really clear, Baronet is a title. So you're effectively saying I'll look to Lord.
Yeah, the Lord.
Yes,
out of the three of us,
the Baronet.
Out of the 4 of us, there is one Lord.
Yes, his name is Hewlin, but yes, the Baronet.
Sorry, Hewlin. I feel like first name is a bit.
Yeah, I mean he introduced himself as Baronet Hewlin, so you say what you like.
Then. I looked at Baronet Hewlin, and then back to the bones to throw. Do you play these games regularly?
It takes my fancy. But Asian's family. Family is what you'd call it. They take their pleasures nightly.
What exactly is the goal of these games?
Pleasure and pleasure alone.
Whose pleasure?
Ours, of course.
And how do you obtain this pleasure? You see as William, he's trying to like think of it's like he's being pretty calm and chill, but this whole weird enchantment magic influencing people thing has like put him a bit like on edge. So he kind of stumbles over his words.
The Baronet reaches across the table and clasps your hand. And when he does so, you will see something in your mind. What you see is a female and a male who seem to be tied to a wall. They're wearing fairly skimpy outfits, and they are being sort of caressed with magic. You immediately know that the magic is a sort of dark magic, and the games are somewhere between pleasure and pain.
And did they look like they're enjoying it? The tied up people.
You are. Oh, give me an Arcana check.
I'd love to. I'll use a card.
Oh, get rid of them all quickly. Do not fear failure.
That's a 12.
You're not really sure whether feeling is something they're doing at all.
Oh my god. I kind of jerk my hand back. Not like crazy jerk it back, but definitely like a
Baronet smiles.
Get off of me. why don't we play a different game? I mean, we're not exactly betting on anything here. And I chuckle slightly.
Go on.
I take out my coin purse. Spiderwebs in there. And I take out 5 silver. Which I'm sure is like pennies to them.
It's still it's decent money, and it's not nothing. Certainly for the afternoon.
I'll take 5 silver and put it on the side. And I'll say,
Can I stop you there? Dinari. As you are sort of speaking with Massalina, Amacinth will suddenly sort of put her hand up a little bit, sort of nod over, and immediately the two Kalishtar will sort of, shall we join the gentleman at the gaming table?
Well, there was an axe throwing game up there. I mean, I don't have it on me now, but actually, I have quite practice with an axe.
Massalina
Don't know if
smiles.
that would strike your fancy.
Amacinth sort of gives you quite a sharp look, and in that case, I will be right back. And she heads directly over towards where you see William and the Baronet.
Ooh. What was the sharp look for? What did I do?
No, it was more a case of like she was hoping that you would just idly follow her. She was quite surprised when you stated your own opinions. And unimpressed.
What's everyone else's reactions?
Massalina sort of gives you an indulgent smile but says nothing. Jailoko sort of looks at you and, I would love to throw axes with you.
Oh, okay.
Well, we've got to have more than a couple of us. There's perhaps we could pick up some friends along the way. There's let's see what your friend is up to. Guides you over like past the dagger throwing towards the axe throwing.
As I've been over here, I want to just before they get over here, I want to be talking to.
They would be passing quite a way behind you. They're passing weary, but either way,
Okay.
Go ahead.
I would just be number one while I'm here. Every time Fiona goes to go, I'm just gonna like subtly correct her stance, just little by little. Every time she goes, just changing a little something. Not expecting big changes, just used to training.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to just be slightly correcting every time,
Okay.
and then just as we're casually just throwing about. So, I'm sorry if this is a rude question, but there was definitely some tension earlier. And
What's there?
it seems to... It wasn't exactly subtle, and no, I'm sorry if it's rude, but my friend is seemingly getting at least friendly with these gentlemen over there. I just want to make sure I don't need to ward her off of anything.
You mean Jailoko and Dinari?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, looks at you and Jailoko's charming. No, nothing to be worried about at all. And then the two elves sort of look at her like she's absolutely crazy. And lean over and they just... Jailoko's nice enough, but his ways are uncommon. And he likes to anger the wrong people. And the right people sometimes, I suppose. He's polarizing, to say the least.
But you wouldn't say dangerous.
Jailoco, no. Though, I wouldn't want to be next to him when the axe falls on his head.
Well, I don't suppose anybody would in that scenario.
No. So, dangerous himself, not in the slightest. Dangerous to be near. Perhaps.
Good to know. Thank you.
I believe it was your throw. And he sort of places the duck back in your hands. Dinari, your friend Jyloko will pass right up to Weary, who is with the three gentlemen, Remfrey and his two friends, who are Cassian and Zoron. You may not want to pay too much attention to these names, but that is their names. Regardless, Remfrey is a human, the other two are elves. And Remfrey will look over and, you're Jyloko, you're wanting to throw daggers? Jyloko sort of smiles. No, axes. Axes, we're throwing axes. Right. Weary, do you throw axes?
Oh, axes aren't really my forte, unless it's a dexterity check.
He sort of smiles. I can't get an axe to go more than a foot or two away, but, well, I'm a delicate flower, they tell me. The boys will play, and the ladies, I'm sure, but perhaps you and I could watch. I could do with another drink. Would you like another drink?
I just down my drink and go, I could go for another.
Wonderful. And he sort of pats you very, like, a little possessively on the elbow, and then he goes and comes back with 2 more glasses of wine. This one is tasting a lot stronger than the last one did. There's far less water in it. Dinari and Castian and Zoron and Jyloko will sort of line up for the axe throwing. And Jyloko will sort of lead. I go first, and you afterwards. Perhaps? Oh, that's a D2 minus. I don't even know what that is. You alright? Good. Ah. Oh. Have we both lost and kept Bumpkin simultaneously? I think we have. So we will leave that conversation moment. Oh, there we go. Hello.
There we go.
Welcome back.
Hi, sorry. What the hell happened?
We could hear you perfectly clearly. Yes, Jyloko will offer to throw first. And he sort of very smilingly and confidently takes up the axe and launches it straight into the wall next to the target. It would seem I've been a bit exuberant. And he sort of pulls the axe out the wall and brings it over to you, Dinari, and sort of puts it on 2 hands and proffers it up to you.
Sorry, I just also want to double check. The last thing that I heard was Weary downing, and then I got
Yes. So Remfrey gave Weary a drink that was much stronger than the previous one, patting him possessively on the elbow, and then suggested that him and Weary spectate as Castian, Zoron, yourself, and Jyloko throw axes.
Okay, though.
And you are proffered the axe. Jyloko will gesture towards the target, and I'll take an athletics check, please.
An athletics check. Oh, I'm not super good at those.
Yeah, probably aren't worse than a 3. Which is what
It's a 10.
Okay, that's great. You hit the target, but only the edge of it. And Cassian and Zora sort of look to each other as if suddenly realizing they're in with a chance. And the 2 elves will immediately begin arguing about who's going to throw first, and sort of having this sort of debate as to the right way to throw an axe. And Jyloko sort of looks at you and they cannot even make their mind up on who is doing what and what is doing how. So,
well, they're coming at this completely the wrong way. It's a single throw doesn't determine anything.
There you go. You have it. The lady says a single throw determines nothing. Your name comes before his in the alphabet. You throw first. And he hands the axe to Castian. Great. Get on with it. Anyway, as I was saying, beautiful lady, where did you learn to throw an axe?
Oh, it's all sorts of weapons. My mother taught me.
Oh. In my house, my mother throws shoes. But do not laugh, she is deadly. Yeah, I could be round 2 corners and behind a door, and she will get me right in the forehead. Every time. Without a question. She could unlight 5 candles with 1 flip-flop. Dangerous woman she was. Dinari. Twice you have made angry face when I have called you beautiful and exotic. You do not like these terms.
feels a little forced, out of place. Not necessary, most definitely.
You are not here seeking a man.
No.
Ah. I will tell you that makes you very unique among the women here. Or perhaps not so unique. It would be unwise to approach your friend with compliments either. Perhaps.
They just need to be genuine. These are just...
You do not think yourself beautiful?
You're putting on a bit of a show. It's not really a secret. I'm a far cry from what people around here consider beautiful.
He sort of nods very, very sort of pointedly at Amacinth, who's gone over to the other table. Is that what you describe as beautiful? Cold, featureless porcelain skin, eyes of ice.
It doesn't really matter.
Perfectly pinned
Doesn't really matter
hair.
what I say is beautiful.
That is what they say is beautiful, but I think not. Give me a rosy cheek, a freckle, a smile, and a bit of a temper. That is far more interesting to me. Tell you that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. My compliments are not welcome, I will take them elsewhere, but do not think for 1 second, my lady, they were not intended. Now, I believe we were going to beat these idiots at axe throwing. And he sort of looks over, and Castian has clipped the edge, and Zoran has sort of hit the target. And as he proffers you the axe, he will sort of... You can see he's trying to change his demeanor to not say things that he thinks you won't like. But he now seems a little unsure of himself, whereas before he seemed very confident.
Mm. Well, let's see if I've gotten used to the feel of this weapon yet. Now, kind of, as I have the axe, I'm kind of like throwing it in my hands a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then getting ready to throw.
Just suddenly, you feel your arm sort of tighten, without intending to, as if sort of a slight muscle cramp. And the axe sort of leaps out your hand towards your own face. You've got quick warrior reactions, and you sort of catch it out the air, but it feels very unexpected and out of nowhere, as if it had happened to you, not that you did it.
Mm. Immediately scanning around for... Is there anyone else who noticed it, or...
You see Jaloko sort of wince, but he doesn't look surprised. The two elves are arguing with each other about which one of them is going to get the better throw next time, and they've gone back to all of that. Weary, as this happens, Remfrey sort of leans into you. Did your friend just throw an axe at her own face?
Yeah, I'm puzzled a bit too, mate. That shouldn't happen.
Doesn't do that often.
I've never seen her do such a thing.
And as you turn, sort of looking to see what's happened, you will notice that just behind you is Henson, your sponsor. And you note that if you hadn't have caught the axe, but you had have moved out the way, it would have hit him. He sort of looks over and... Do you have space for another at the axe throwing? I'd love to join you.
I do, but it seems to be quite a dangerous place, apparently. I'll turn to Jaloko and I'll say, for someone who just had an axe hair widths away from their face, he's quite stoic. Never seen that before.
Jaloko sort of looks a bit awkward. He may join us if you wish. He sort of ignores everything you said up to that moment, and just you can see like he's feeling a little ill at ease.
Ill at ease?
Yeah, he's not comfortable now that Henson's come over.
Oh, sorry. What was it that Henson had said? He was just asking to participate as well.
Yeah, he's just asking to participate, asking if you had a space at the axe table, the axe throne.
mean, by all means, you can come and try and put these two in their place. The two that are arguing. But I'll say,
I believe
that
that's
was. You're free to try. I think it's enough for me today. I think it's been a little bit of a sign. Maybe I shouldn't be wielding an axe around. Doesn't really seem the place for it.
There is a place for it this evening, though, however, if you would. Well, perhaps not an axe. There is a little bit of a competition going on this evening. It's called Bury the Hatchet, which I suppose is an axe in its own way, though it's more like a halberd. Very, very long stick, very small axe head. One barrel of beer, first one to get the beer pouring. Well, they win the pot and then we play again and again. A few of us were going to attend. I know Jaloko will be there. And a couple of others. We had hoped that perhaps you and Anivari might participate.
Her choice to participate is entirely up to her, but I mean, look, I would like to at least show you that I am a bit better at throwing axes and wielding weapons and such. I feel like I have a bit of a reputation I need to mend.
Your reputation did precede you, it is true. And with that, Jaloko sort of turns and he throws his own axe, and finally, like, he doesn't hesitate this time. The confidence comes back to him, and it flows neatly, and it looks like it's going to hit right in the middle of the target. And at the very last second, it just sort of spins a little quicker, and the handle hits the board, and the axe drops to the floor. He looks at the axe and back at you, and I'm feeling a little unwell. I will go to the bathroom. I will come back shortly.
Yeah, just I'll let him.
Sorry, what will you do?
I was just saying I won't stop him.
No, of course. As he heads off, Anivari, just very quickly, the two gentlemen, the elves, who have been sort of playing with you as the duck game goes on, sort of look at you and your friend seems in a spot of bother. Shall we try and rescue him? And points over towards William, who you will see has sort of Amaranth and a couple of other ladies approaching his table, and there seems to be something a little intense going on over there.
I think we should. Probably best for everybody.
Excellent. Wine? He sort of reaches out and grabs just a platter of the wine glasses and offers you the crystallized iced wine and offers you a glass.
Still working on mine. Thank you.
Very well. Two for me. He next one puts it back on the tray, then picks up the other and then puts the tray down. And as he heads over, William, you drew forth a pouch of silver. What did you have in mind?
Well, it's not. I don't have a pouch for each type of coin.
No, just 5 silver.
A contest. Yeah, I took 5 silver out and put it on the table. And I will say, the game is simple. We each bet an amount of money, and then you think of a number between, let's say, 1 and 100. You write this number down on a piece of parchment, put it on the table, face down, so neither one of us can see. If I guess the number correctly, I win the money, and if I don't, you do.
Very well. You are sure that that is the stake you wish to place towards your 5 silver?
Is there something else you had in mind? Speak freely.
If you guessed the number correctly, meet your stake if you wish of 5 silver, or help you in some other way if you have it in mind. If you guess incorrectly, you will tell us where you're from in detail.
I try and brush it off like, he's asking for nothing. If you'd like to waste a prize on that, then very well. And I will take out from my bag a piece of parchment and rip a little piece and pass it to him with a ink pen and a little ball of ink. As he writes down the number, so like William's magic is very like visual and very like out of him, and so I'm going to try. He's going to try and cast magic whilst also suppressing it, and so that it's not seen.
Mhm.
So I will use a sorcery point to subtly cast minor divination, so that I can know what number he's thinking of when he writes.
You're pretty certain that the number he wrote down was 66.
I don't like that pretty certain, but if that's the number I have, that's fine. As he puts it down, I'll wait a moment. I'll say 66.
He slides the paper towards you, but doesn't turn it round. He just slides it straight across the table.
Is it going to look like 99?
You know that, and so you can turn the paper around the right way.
I will do so.
And indeed, as you open up the parchment, it says 66. And at the bottom of the parchment, there is an address.
Oh no, the mother house. I will hold the paper to cover the address and show the audience.
You get a very, very slow clap from Amaranth, who looks at you and... We're betting for real stakes. It's only 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
I'll fold the paper up and put it away. What stakes would you like?
What you do with yourself is totally up to you. What you do, however, and she turns to look at the baronet, is not. You have a reputation to uphold. That reputation is mine.
Surely a game of just spending a few coins is nothing to...
The baronet has a gambling problem. He is attempting to learn restraint.
Scandalous.
You should aid him in this. After all, he's trying to secure himself the finest of wives. That would be me. She places her glass quite heavily upon the table. She sort of motions, and the elf who did most of the talking at the beginning, who you didn't get his name, but I'll just tell you it's Laurel, so that you know that the 2 elves are called Laurel and Asian. Laurel will get up and walk away with her briefly, and she has a very quiet conversation with him, and then Laurel comes back to the table, sits, and sort of looks over to you, and perhaps a little less gambling for now. Perhaps some... there is a very silly game we could partake in at the spinning table. I believe that quite a few people are going to participate shortly. Perhaps your friends would be involved.
As I look around the room, where are my friends?
Right now, you will see Weary and a very effeminate-looking young chap watching Dinari, who is kind of standing there, sort of looking a little like she's finished her game, but she hasn't moved away yet. So looking a little like she's directionless, if you will. Standing near the 2 elves and one gentleman who are Henson, who are throwing axes. You will see that a little behind Dinari is Henson's man, Jackson, who looks like he's about to head over to her and maybe intervene. Anivari is coming directly towards you. And as she arrives at the table, just before you say anything, as she arrives at the table, Amaranth will sort of turn to her and... Ah, you've returned.
I had a lovely time launching ducks.
course you did. We were about to head to the spinning table as a large group. We'd love to see you participate.
I'm excellent at weaving.
I'm sure that will come in helpful.
Not that kind of spinning table? Okay.
William, she looks to you, as if expecting you to follow her lead.
I will collect my coins and put them back.
Is that what you would like as your prize? You'd rather 5 silver than the... Oh, your own 5 silver.
I'd rather way more than 5 silver, but I won't discuss payment quite yet. It seems a bit tactless.
If you say
especially
nothing...
when he's just being bollocked.
If you say nothing, he will just... when you guys get up, he will just place us... almost take your hand a bit sensually, really, and place 5 silver.
Oh, but I didn't want that as a reward. Okay.
He says very quietly, if you'd like to claim a different prize, perhaps when Amaranth is not around. Check was quite impressive.
I don't respond, but I will put the silver in my pouch. I will get up. This may go very badly. But I'll stand up and strain myself, and I will very confidently look to, oh God, what's her name?
Amaranth?
Yes, I'm a what?
Amaranth.
Synth. I'm a synth. I will look to her, and I will put one hand behind my back and gesture with another for her to take my hand. Shall we? It's very friendly, not romantic.
She nods at you, but she does not bring her hands forward at all. She just sort of looks at you.
And does she walk? Does she go?
She is heading towards the spinning table.
Okay, I'll let her walk away. I'll walk in the opposite direction.
Oh, you're not going to the spinning table?
No.
Okay.
Don't take embarrassment like that.
What do you mean embarrassment?
She left me hanging.
You can see she just won't take your hand. That's all. She won't, she just won't engage physically. Okay. Everybody else, Jackson will approach Dinari and just say sort of very quietly, the group will be playing a large game in a moment. Are you comfortable continuing, or would you like me to... Do you need some space?
What do you mean need some space?
Very good. And then he will sort of, as soon as you say that, he sort of disappears and melts into the crowd, leaving you to head over to the spinning table. And only moments later, weary, Jackson comes over to you and... Are we doing all right? Everything okay? Need some air, or are you participating in the spinning game?
I'll participate in the game, mate.
Right.
I'm all right.
And he sort of again weaves effortlessly through the crowd and goes over to Anivari, and just sort of brushes your elbow, Anivari, a little gently, and just
James.
Yeah.
Sorry, as I was walking in the other direction, I like to catch Anivari's eye and be like.
Yeah, I was actually gonna go after.
So yeah, Jackson will sort of approach you as you were sort of looking to him to William and just say, "Are you spinning, or do you need a little break from this?"
I think I'll join in a moment.
He looks a little uncomfortable, and then he sort of very well. And then William, he sort of does this odd he seems to glide almost through the crowd. You can see he's hurrying, but he tries to do it nonchalantly, and he sort of puts his hand on your wrist and sort of pulls you back a little bit. Are you headed outside?
No.
Very well.
Should I be?
No, if you need a little space, I can get you a little space, but just be aware that to excuse yourself at this moment would be a little awkward.
I'll be right over in a moment.
Oh. And he again sort of melts into the crowd, leaving the four of you to sort of do what you please. And as you, Anivari, as you follow William, you will see Dinari and Weary approaching the table, the spinning table, which is a large round table, at the center of which is sort of a tall piece of wood. And on that piece of wood is what appears to be a sort of thin metal bolt in the shape of sort of a pointed needle, like a compass point, at the end of a long rope that seems designed to sort of spin around the table. As everybody gets to the spinning table, you'll see the group of bards in the corner sort of pick up the pace a little bit. Anivari, what are you doing?
I'm gonna walk up beside William and take the arm that he had offered, and I would just sort of be smiling and gritting out the side of my teeth, play nice. We have to do this.
I smile back. This isn't the politics I remember. Everyone's so upfront about everything.
I say that's true in some ways and not in others. Shall we?
Very well. And I'll spin us around so that we walk towards the table.
Yeah, as you head to the spinning table, a space is made for you between Henson and the Baronet, for the two of you. Just as you sort of take your place at the table, you'll see directly opposite you Jailoco take his place at the table, looking a little queasy. Dinari and Weary, would you like to be near anybody in particular at the table?
So someone's messing with, someone's messing with, people. It's like, who is it? And I guess Solomon doesn't like us talking with Jailoco, so is Solomon joining us?
Solomon's at the table, yes.
Yeah,
he
I
is
will
next
go
to Fiona.
next to, I will go next to Solomon, and I will try to distract Solomon if he gets in the way of anyone trying to. I mean, I guess this is a bit meta that I'm saying this out loud, but you know what I mean. Like, I'll try and if anyone's trying to get to Jailoco, I will try to. And Solomon tries to intervene, I will try and distract Solomon.
Okay. And Dinari, is there anyone in particular you'd like to be near? Is there anyone in particular you'd like to fit in?
Would Jailoco and I lock eyes as we're all kind of going through? Or
well, you would be on the same side of the table as Jailoco when he joins the table in front of you to the side a little bit. So if you wanted to ease in next to him or completely as far away from him as you like both options are available.
Oh, so he wouldn't see me come up?
No, he's got his back to you.
Yes, no, I'll saddle right up next to Jailoco.
Sort of smiles at you. I am glad that you have excused my earlier discomfort. Apologize.
That's all right.
Do you know how to play?
Right. I have absolutely no idea what we're doing.
Okay. So, he will begin explaining, and at the same time, Solomon will explain to Weary, and Henson will explain to Anivari and William. But basically, the needle, is what they call it, will begin to spin. And you'll see a yellow mark all around the pole at the center, about halfway up. And as it spins, it will go up. And it'll go very, very fast. Once it gets above the yellow line, you may attempt to catch the needle. Like putting your hand up and catching it. You are told that you may touch the rope or the needle to try and stop it. And you may also try and move it instead of just trying to catch it. But whoever seizes upon the needle will gain the first point. And they will not be able to play. They will step out. And after 10 people have been chosen, then only those 10 people will play. And then only 6 people will play. And then only 2 people will play. So it goes down, like in numbers as it goes. But all you really have to do is catch the needle once it's above the yellow line.
Okay.
All of you give me a perception check.
11.
Non-natural 20.
Anivari?
I'm gonna make it a little bit better.
Oh, I should have added it. Yeah.
You can add a card.
I think I'm gonna add my d6.
Okay. So Anivari, your total was?
12 total.
Okay. And Bumpkin, if you want to drag your d6 to the table.
Oh, shit. Okay, well, I'll still add the d6. I just does anyone else remember?
What you got?
Yeah.
No.
You got an 11, didn't you?
11. Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
you
That
got
makes
11,
sense.
yeah.
Thank you. Sorry.
You have power over your mind, not outside events, she says, as she tries to influence outside events. Let's see what we get.
So that's a 1. Damn it.
Okay, so we've got an 8, a 12, 20, and Elora, I've forgotten already.
Another 12.
Okay. William, as you look about the table, you are a little distracted by the behavior of some of the people moving up. There seems to be some shuffling about in the line, and you'll see gaps appearing. Different points where people sort of hoping somebody will step in and nobody does. It's a little awkward. It's not just friendship groups. You'll note that people who clearly don't like each other have chosen to stand next to each other. With a 12, Dinari and Anivari, you sort of catch eyes with each other across the table. And you realize that most of the people here are very finely built. And quite gentle folk. Certainly in terms of their musculature and their physical prowess. It is quite obvious that the two of you are head and shoulders above the others in terms of strength. And you realize quite quickly that either one of you may be able to win this with ease. You may also be able to, if you wish, communicate quietly whether that's a good idea or not. Weary, however, you were looking elsewhere. You were looking for somebody who was messing with things. And instead, what you saw was one of the elves that you played knife throwing with earlier. Castian is quite clearly casting a spell. And when he's finished casting a spell, it is him that begins the dagger spinning. This starts with a sort of a little blow of wind, and then with his motions, it begins to pick up pace. And you'll see that it starts off very slowly, but by the time it's spinning at its full speed, you expect grabbing hold of that would hurt. No, it's not going to kill you, but it's going fast. Dinari and Anivari, do you wish to communicate any sort of silent message between you as to whether you should try and win or not?
I will just sort of like give a half shrug of might as well get to the next round.
I was trying to be like, well, we can't make it look like a slam dunk, but
Okay, so win, but not by a clear mile. Okay. It spins, and you notice it making its way very slowly up the table. And then Weary, we'll go off your previous perception check. You see Jailoko sort of raise his hand as it's getting close to the yellow, and then he pulls away and decides not to get involved. And as it reaches the yellow, if anybody would wish to try and catch this, you may make an athletics check. It is moving very fast.
There's 10 rounds of this.
10 people go through the first round, so yes, there's 10 catches at first.
I think I would wait to see what people do in the first round.
Okay.
Like if they throw elbows or something.
Mm-hmm. Dinari, you want to go straight for the catch?
Am I assuming that I didn't see Julico's hesitation?
You're standing next to him, so you see that someone can go up and then put his hand back.
Oh, if I can, I'll kind of whisper to him, like, not the competitive type? What's going on?
Not my moment.
There's an order to this?
If you wish to try, you try. It's not Jaloko's moment. It might be yours.
What the fuck? Okay. I'll keep waiting for my moment if I can see my moment.
Okay. So you want to wait?
Yeah, I'll still like if there's only like 1 or 2 spots open, then I'll still try and like go. Like if it looks like I won't get a spot, I'll still try and make a reach for it.
Yeah.
But I'm like that comment kind of throws me off where I'm trying to think what the fuck is
As it gets above the yellow, nobody reaches for it. And it starts to slow down. And after it slowed down a little bit, Amacinth reaches up her hand quite casually, takes hold of it. She places it back down on the table and steps out. Smile. And the game begins again. This time it's spinning, it's spinning, it's spinning. It gets to the yellow and Jyloko sort of goes to raise his hands, and then give me anybody who's opposite him. So Anivari and William, I think it was. Were you two standing next to each other? Yes. Anivari and William, give me a perception check. Actually, Dinari, give me a perception check for something else.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Natural 20.
Nice.
Finally.
William and Anivari, what were your checks?
9.
And Josh?
21.
Okay, so William notices immediately that Jylok sort of raises his hand and stares dead into the eyes of Henson, who is next to you. And Dinari, you will notice Henson sort of catch eyes with Jyloko, turn to the Baronet, and as the Baronet lifts his hand, both Jyloko and Henson reach for the needle as well.
Seeing all this, can I also reach for it?
Yes, make me an athletics check.
In there staring and everything, try and take that opportunity.
Yeah, make me an athletics check. Dinari, do you want to reach for seeing this? And Anivari, and Weary, you all have the choice. You can tell me at any point that you want to reach.
I'll use my last card.
Okay. Get rid of them all. If you believe very strongly in something, stand up and fight for it.
18.
The other three of you, are all of you not.
I want to make sure that Solomon loses.
Don't let him win.
So you'll only reach for it if he does? Or you'll just knock him out the way?
I'll only reach for it if he does, and I'll knock it so he doesn't get it.
Great.
Nice.
Anivari and Dinari, both of you abstaining.
I'm gonna not go for the catch. I'm gonna go for the bump to just move it away a bit, make it go a bit crazy.
Give me a sleight of hand check.
Yeah, I'm good at that.
And Dinari?
I think I would abstain just to see more of this tense interaction.
Okay.
I've just kind of.
So the Baronet reaches for it, makes a snatch and misses it by like just a tiny bit. And as Jyloko reaches for it, it sort of bumps a little bit. What was your sleight of hand check?
12.
12. So it bumps a little bit. Anivari goes to knock it out the way, doesn't quite catch it. And as William reaches for it, he sort of like, because Anivari's bumped it, it bumps into William's hand and deflects off. And you see it hit Henson in the wrist. And he's obviously, you're really quite hurt by it. And it almost falls to like a dead stop before Asian, the elf who was one of the Baronet's companions, the dangerous one, sort of reaches out and grabs it real quick.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
As Henson sort of takes a step back, you, Dinari, you can give me a perception check. This is for hearing. If that makes any difference?
I don't think so.
No, not a bat.
No.
Just checking.
That is a 21.
Yeah, you hear Jyloko sort of go, not again.
What do you mean not again? What the fuck is going on? Give me a straight answer this time. What is going on?
what is going on? We are trying to catch the needle, but you see, I cannot catch it before the Lady Amaranth, because then I will be in trouble, but I do want to catch it before the Baronet, because the Baronet is vying for the most beautiful woman in the room, apparently, who is Amaranth. And not that I want Amaranth, because she's a cold-hearted bitch, but I do want to be accepted into part of the circle, so I want to be part of it. But every time I try and do anything, this poor Henson lad, he is falling, he is tripping, he is hurt, he is everything. And it is like I am controlling something I cannot control. It is disastrous. Look at this yet again, my little bump, and now look, he's got a broken wrist.
As he's like going on this mad rant, I don't know if this is too intimate, but it's like kind of like I'll just like take the face a little bit, like just trying to like I don't know, like finding a way to just get him back in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just kind of look at him and say, "Look, it's a room full of people trying to grab a needle. Just do what you want to do. Be you."
If only it worked like that. Yes, be me. But me is accepted and not accepted, and there's trouble. And you will come to see, or maybe you will not come to see. You walk in straight lines. You do not allow for the shifting of the sand. And perhaps maybe the sand will move for you, but for me, the sand does not move. It is obstructing the way, and I must go round the dune. And as he says this quite loudly, you just see 3 elves sort of turn in and go, shh! And then the needle begins to spin. As the needle reaches the yellow point, Jyloko will nudge you, Dinari, and goes, be you!
Okay. Hand goes up.
And you will see the Baronet reach up to grab it. William, are you also going to reach if the Baronet reaches?
No, not if Dinari is as well. I've got a -2 to athletics, so I'm just gonna play when I know I have a chance to win.
Okay. Weary, you will see Solomon sort of go to lift his hand, and as soon as the Baronet lifts his hand, he crosses his hands.
Okay, so you have to let the sun win.
Dinari, your athletics check.
I will have turned away from this round when Henson's wrist was hurt, and I'm just sort of gonna rest the hand on his shoulder and be like, oh, it doesn't look so bad, and can I just put like a point of lay on hands, just very
For a broken wrist?
Give a little more if needed. How hard was the hit?
He broke his wrist. Yeah, absolutely.
Like
it's like his hand is like this. It's just like flopped backwards. It's fucked.
Oh.
Like there's no bone coming out, but it's pretty bad. Okay. With a 5, he's cured of any diseases and poisons. But no, he sort of straightened his wrist and he's like,
Should probably get that looked at. Hopefully it hurts a little less.
You'll see Jackson sort of come over and sort of start talking to him very quietly, trying to help him out.
Yeah, I'll turn back away from him. I just wanted to just do a little something since I felt kind of bad about batting it.
Yep. Dinari, what was your athletics check?
It was a 9.
A 9. Well, you did slightly better than the Baronet, who got an 8. But the two of you sort of both reach and miss. And as soon as you both reach and miss, Fiona will leap up to grab it with 2 hands. And she does. She catches it, but then she sort of like swings on it, and bumps into 2 girls next to her. And she sort of like, she's really gleefully like seizing onto it. She's like, I did it! I did it! Look at me, I got the needle! And you just see like, literally her hand is bruised, and you know, her hair's all over the place, and she just looks ecstatic. She'll move over to the side. Amaranth looks furious. A couple of rounds pass where sort of various people just reach and grab, and there's a bit of a melee for it. But notably, the Solomon and the Baronet do not compete. Would any of you like to compete? There are now 4 people chosen.
I will.
Okay. The 3 of you make me an athletics check, please. Or 4 if Weary's participating as well.
No.
just trying to ruin Solomon's day.
Yeah.
Ugh,
It was
it's
rude.
5. 17.
I got an 8.
Okay. Nice. I have got a natural 20. So basically what happens is Anivari, like, gets her hand in the way, and it hits, and it sort of really stutters and stops. Ow. Really hurt. Remfrey sort of had made a really half-hearted, really camp pansy-ish leap at it, sort of. And as Anivari hits it, it just sort of flops into his hands. And he sort of looks down, like, almost in surprise. He goes, "Oh! It's me!" Oh, that's wonderful. And he sort of looks a little happy and goes over, and you can just see Emerson is sort of looking a little confused. In the next round, the Baronet will reach for it, and everybody else sort of stays hands down. Does anybody want to challenge the Baronet?
Yeah.
Sure.
Roll with advantage. Your determination comes forward.
6.
That's good.
Whew.
Hey.
The Baronet makes a snatch for it, and he misses, and then it like catches the back of his hand the next time round. He's sort of, and then it sort of falls towards you, and you make a really sort of, it's a pretty pathetic snatch, but you catch your arm in the rope, and it sort of wraps round, and then the needle sort of lands on the back of your hand. The Baronet just looks over at you and, "Oh, really?"
I'd look over to him. 2 for 2, I suppose.
I thought we were trying to get in favor.
He nods, and then when the next when it spins the next time, nobody goes, and he reaches up, and as he puts his hand up, you see a slight blue hand form slightly in front of his. And then he just very casually grips hold of it and puts it down.
Fancy wasting a Big B's hand on this.
It's a mage hand. And then he sort of strides over, looking confident, over to you guys. On the next round, the only 2 people to make a leap of the table are Massalina and Jailoco. Anybody else want to go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You 2 and Jailoco and can make a attempt. You will note that Massalina's sort of just leaps up and doesn't even reach the needle.
Oh.
Ooh.
Jeez. Oh my god.
Oh, no.
7.
23.
23.
No, sorry, 22.
Yeah, Anivari eventually just sort of put up a hand. It's a nice firm hand. You just catch hold of it. It's strong. And as you do, there quite a few people sort of do a little clap. They're quite pleased. Give me a insight check if you would like.
3.
3. They're really pleased that you caught it. Great.
Yeah,
good.
yeah, they are.
The same on the next round. Jailoco and Massalina, and Dinari.
I'm putting a DO4 into this because Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh no.
I'll just pop that out.
What lies behind you and what lies in front of you pales in comparison to what lies inside of you. Is it a nat 20? Is that what lies inside of you?
No, but I did get a 4 on the D4.
That's good.
Just maybe a 4. Ah! Jeez, I rolled a 3, so it's 5. That's a 9.
Massalina got a natural 20. And she sort of reaches up with both hands and claps either side of the rope. And it sort of spins around a bit and it just nestles in her hood. She didn't catch it, but she's partaking. There is 1 round left. And at this point, you see lots of people sort of shuffle forwards, realizing that it's their moment to compete. Weary, you note that Solomon is sort of rubbing his hands together and he's taking his gloves off.
All right.
Ready. And just before he goes to catch it, Weary, he's going to try and stamp on your toe. Or rather, he may have stepped on your foot accidentally. You're not sure. whatever you try and do, you will have disadvantage on. If you're trying to catch. If you're trying to bump him, then you may just carry on as you do so.
Yeah, I'm just gonna bump him. That's all.
Great, love that. So he will give you disadvantage. You will give him disadvantage.
Yeah.
Dinari, your roll, please. Come on, this has got to be the one.
Oh my god, this sucks. Oh, it teetered on a 7, but it's a 17.
Nice.
17. Nice.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Solomon will roll with disadvantage. And get a 13. The only other person you'll see sort of... Jailoco was sort of just a little bit behind you, and you might note that he gestures to someone. A little bit sort of like a cut it out motion. And one of the gentlemen who sort of looked quite competent, who was standing on the side, one of the elves, who was throwing knives earlier with Weary, sort of puts his hand back down. And you will catch the needle, Dinari. And as you catch the needle, again, there's the same round of applause from exactly the same people that clapped Anivari.
Do I get an insight check for that as well, or no?
Mhm.
Is it just...
Give me an
Okay.
insight check.
17 again.
Yeah, Zac Efron. As you look over to the baronet, you will see him giving quite angry looks at those people clapping. Each one that notices him giving an angry look will clap louder.
Oh, he's not liked.
There seems to be a
Is that not
divide in the room. Whatever
Yeah.
happens, he's not supportive of the tieflings. Just as there is sort of a bit of celebration, and then the 10 people are about to sort of get back into the next round, you will notice a bit of hushed quiet come over the room. And a gentleman wanders in. He is very tall, very, very handsome. Sort of bright blue eyes. And he wears a thin coronet, a silver, little silver ring crown with a tiny blue gem in it. To anybody who is near anyone, they will tell you that this is the Prince of Nolvina. So he is one of the children of Lord Martin and Lady Christina. The Rolmsfords, if you will. His name... Not on this page. How annoying. His name is Aemon. A-E-M-O-N. He has an elf. Very elegant. And he sort of looks over and... Oh, wonderful. We're playing Spin the Needle, are we? Yeah. Huh. Ah. You must be... He hesitates for a moment and then points correctly. Anivari and Dinari, Weary and William Hale. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you at court.
Word travels fast.
Or some of us do our research. Wonderful to have you here. I was very sorry to hear about what happened to you over at Burford. Is it Burford? Is that the right name? Did I just make that up? Did I just pull that up my ass?
Never
Say
heard that name in my
Burwood?
life.
What the
Burwood, Burford. I was close. I heard about what happened to you at Burwood. Such a shame. Can't be having that happening again. You won't be run out of Norvina, unless you keep winning, of course. Absolute pleasure to
We
have you
appreciate
present.
that.
You'll be joining us for food shortly, I imagine. Feast will start at about 4:30, I think. Afternoon.
Very well. Yes.
Don't worry. I'm sure somebody will help you identify which fork is which should you need the help. He looks a little pointedly at Weary.
I'm too busy in the game.
locked in?
Well. Can I... Oh, you finished the first round. Okay, very well. Perhaps he looks over to Cassian and says, perhaps I might start the game. If you would allow me the pleasure. And then as the 10 of you sort of go round, just to give you a very quick rundown, you've got Marcelina, Asian, Amasinth, Dinari, Anivari, William, Jaloco, Remfrey, 7, 8, the Baronet, and Fiona. There we go. So those are the 10. And as the 10 sort of come round, you see the prince sort of, well, some of the usual suspects and some others, I see. Wonderful. Fiona, is it? I don't think I've ever seen you go to the second round. Congratulations. And of course, we would have expected yourselves as trained armsmen. Though, I must ask, did you, and looks to William, you didn't cheat?
That's not in my nature.
Rhaegar said you had some magic about you, but surely no one here would be using magic to succeed at seizing the needle. He looks very pointedly at the Baronet, who flushes into the crimson. Of course. So, shall we start? I think we'll up the pace, shall we? And you'll notice that he is very nonchalant. William, you will know immediately he is using subtle spell. So he is either has a meta magic or has expended a sorcery point or in some way. He just sort of waves his hand and the needle begins to spin much faster than it was before. And this at this speed, it could be dangerous. I'm only going to ask 2 questions. We're not going to play out round 10, round 6, and round 2. First of all, I want to know: are you all at this point trying to win?
No.
Okay, so we'll start with Josh. What are you trying to achieve?
I assume that Amasinth is going to win. I'm assuming that no one else is going to fight her on it. Because we saw her take the first round.
I mean for the entire 6 rounds to get to the next round.
Yes, I'm getting there.
Okay.
Oh, well, yeah, anyways. So, because of that, I would like to get as close to second place as I can, and then kind of fake going for the first spot, but ultimately letting her win.
Okay.
As a kind of show to say that, like, I and we will play along, but I and we are not the same, like, status quo pushovers as everyone else.
Okay.
But I have -2 to the roll, so I don't know if I'll get there.
You are correct in that if you 3 don't try and stop it, Amasinth will take the first catch. But again, it's sort of she reaches up to catch it after it's slowed down a bit. So if one of you 2 wants to try and grab it before her, you're more than welcome to.
I'm not gonna make an enemy at this point.
Okay. Dinari, fancy an enemy?
I just missed everything again.
So in the first round, like last time, Amasinth is allowed to just play on her own effectively. Unless you want to try and catch it.
No, I already pissed her off once.
Okay. So Amasinth wins the first round. And the prince looks quite disappointed. He looks over to you all and, come now. Leave the politics out of the game room. Let's just all go for it. Just enjoy it. Give it your best shot, why don't? And on the next round as he spins, you will note that everybody attempts to catch it. Everyone else.
Sorry, what were the 2 main questions again? It was right after.
I hadn't got there yet because William asked. But so from this point, everyone is going to compete equally. I have 2 questions. First of all, will you all try and catch it and get to the next round?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And William, yes, you want to try and get to the top 2. Okay. And secondly, is there anybody that you are specifically trying to observe and or knock off their game?
If I can get the Baronet to lose,
Great.
then I'll do so.
Love
I'm
that. happy
happy to subtle magic stuff as well,
Great.
so that I don't get caught.
Fantastic.
Although, as there's another sorcerer in the room, that might be a bit tricky
Cool.
to get away
Love
with.
that. Give me a stealth check, and Dinari, is there anybody you're trying to knock off their game? Is there anybody you're trying to keep a special eye on? You don't have to, like, those are two separate questions in one, I guess.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to see who's in this. Sorry, I'm also getting my people crossed. I thought the Baronet broke his wrist and he was gone.
No, Henson, the guy who hired you, who bad things keep
Yes.
happening to when Jaloko's involved. Jaloko knocked it and it broke Henson's wrist.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I thought yeah. No, I'll keep an eye on Jaloko again just to see like if the rumor
Give me an
or the
Arcana
pattern
check.
holds still.
We're expecting that, were we? Anivari, what do?
I might happen to bump it in Fiona's favor every so often. Just
Oh, you want to give Fiona advantage? I love that. Okay, just to give you a clue, she's got a -7 to athletics. The DC to catch it in the first round was 14. So she hadn't rolled a nat 20, she just couldn't get through it. So yeah, cool. But you can give her some help. The DC for this one is a 16, so again, she just needs a nat 20.
That's all.
So I will take the stealth check from William first, please.
I got a 10, but if I do think I can get away with something, I will subtle magic.
You do think you can get away with it? The only person that stealth check was for was the prince. When he sees you're using magic to disrupt the baronet, he gives you a wink and a smile. He thoroughly approves. So he said leave the politics out, but he's playing politics.
Sure.
Weary. As this game is going on, Solomon looks to you and... Did we get off on the wrong foot?
Nah, just did what you did to me, mate.
Intervene? With what?
Well, it was just earlier. We were just all having a good time, having a conversation. And you kind of butted in and, you know, played the court politics as you do. And, well, I thought I'd butt in and play the court politics.
I like it. I like
But,
you. Straight talker.
Oh,
I will be very honest. I warned you away from Jailoko because... Not just because he's different. But... A lot of people predict that very soon he might fall out of favor. You've got enough riding against you. I wanted you to have a fair shot.
I really appreciate you looking out for us. But, I mean...
But it
I'm
seems
partial
unnecessary.
to gossip.
You seem
I'm
to be
partial to gossip, mate. What's
Ooh.
going on?
Well, let's just say that he's rustled a few feathers. You might have noticed that until the prince is involved, the baronet and his soon-to-be bride are really the leaders of the pack. Anyone who gets in their way tends to get run over. But we'll see how it all pans out. Dinari, what was your Arcana check?
3.
A 3!
A 3.
Yeah, you saw some light coming out the back of Jailoko's hand. Totally confusing, and it kind of puts you off your game.
Does it at least look like it's magic?
Oh, it's definitely magic. You just have no idea what it
Yeah.
was. Or
okay.
any idea what he was trying to do, or what it was in reference to, or even when he cast it. But you do know that he did some magic. That's all you've got with a 3, I'm afraid.
Hmm.
Cool. And the last thing I
Okay.
will take from you all is D100, please.
Hey.
Mm.
5.
What?
An A?
I roll low on a D1.
54.
87.
Bastard.
Masalina and Dinari do not find this round very easy. Sorry, I didn't need one from Weary.
Oh, yeah, of course, I'm
Yeah.
not playing.
Anivari,
87.
you're in the top 6. Josh.
54.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're in 6th. The 4 people that did not make it through to the next round are Remfrey, Fiona, Massalina, and Dinari. And Dinari, when this happens to you, you're approached by a girl you haven't met yet. She sort of looks to you and very quietly, "Hi, Rochelle."
Hi, Dinari. Matching tone.
Right. Just struck me as like, you should be really good at this, and you seem to like be... It seems like maybe luck is not going in your favor, not skill.
First, ouch.
I'm just saying that you're not the first person to trade nice words with somebody and then find themselves unlucky. You should talk to Henson.
Or maybe I'm just really shit at trying to catch a flying needle.
That could also be true. I like that theory.
Yeah.
I'm shit too. I don't even try anymore. Do you want a glass of wine?
That'd be lovely.
Why are we whispering?
You started it.
Shit, did I? Rochelle sort of looks over. She lets out a very unladylike, almost braying horse-like laugh. And then hands you a glass of wine, and she's like, "Bottoms up!" Like in a really unfashionable manner. And you'll note that she's got a fairly square-cut dress, and she's a little plain-looking for an elf, and just seems like she's down to have a good laugh. As the 6 of you approach the table, it is Asian, Amma, Synth, Anivari, William, Jaloco, and who's missing?
Hewlin. The Baronet.
Fiona.
No, she didn't make it through. As the 6
She
of
didn't
you
roll 100 on her D100.
No, she didn't exactly. Pretty much. As the 6 of you join at the table, the Crown Prince sort of looks around, and no politics, no letting them win, and plenty of cheating. Let's go. As he spins the needle, once again, William, do you want to attempt to disrupt the Baronet?
Yes.
Okay.
I have one last sorcery's point to use on Soul Magic.
With disadvantage, he did quite well. Okay. From you two, please, I will take an athletics check.
One of these days, that's gonna actually roll well.
Anivari?
8.
8! Oh. You unfortunately are the worst two at the table. It's the Baronet.
Better than 9.
Oh, yeah, sorry. You're right. That is Jaloco, who really struggled this round. You will see that it is... Oh, it is. It's Amacenth and the Baronet.
Oh, man.
Even with no politics, it's still the same two. The Crown Prince sort of looks up and... Well, this is kind of uninteresting. Anivari. Good.
That's correct.
You probably stand the best chance, don't you think, out of the group of you? You two, lovers to be. Pick one of you and compete against Anivari. Make it more interesting. We've all seen the two of you play, and we both know that you'll bend over backwards trying to let the other one win until we're all bored shitless. So, which one of you is going to compete against Anivari here? Amasin sort of puts her hand up and I've won enough of my games. Go on. And the Baronet is going to compete against you, Anivari. And Anivari, I will let you have a choice. You may roll me an athletics check, a sleight of hand check, or a D100.
Ooh.
He will do the same.
I'd like to cheat.
How would
Just
you
throwing
like
it out
to cheat?
there. So I can't subtly do this. So it is going to be very obvious, but if the prince said it's okay to cheat, then I will take that. I would like to cast sleep on him.
Do you have the new or old version of sleep? Is
I have
it a
the
con
legacy.
save or is it a 5d8?
It's a 5D.
Probably a 5d8.
Not too bad, 28.
I'm looking
Anivari,
for the athletics check.
you're going for athletics, okay? So he will match you with athletics. And as you see he goes up, he sort of hesitates a moment. Oh. And then, William, you feel cold. Ice cold. And you feel a
It's cold,
hand
isn't it?
on your back, on your shoulder, just here. No. Long, dark, black hair, the elf Asian puts his hand on your shoulder. And... We offered you a chance to play our games. You declined. This is not the place, no
Did I?
time. Yes, he invited you to the mother house. No, so he invited you to the dagger game. When you declined with the dagger game, he took that as a... Are you trying to make an enemy?
I will take his hand and remove it.
Your body begins to warm up ever so slightly after that.
And I will turn to face him. Enemy. The prince said to cheat. Should I disobey a royal order?
Like many, you have chosen the higher of two powers. Very well. The power shifts. And you see him sort of gesture with his hand. And you will see what looks like a sort of a silver and green snake sort of appear near Anivari. It curls around her feet, but it doesn't actually close in on them. And then he waves again and it disappears. Be careful. Anivari, roll me an athletics check.
21.
21. Would you like to know his modifier or not when I roll the dice?
Tell us.
He's got a +3.
That's not too bad.
Haha! And he rolled 11!
Nice. He's too
So
tired.
yeah, he's sort of in that momentary yawn. You know, you see him overcome it, but as he reaches, he's just a moment too late, and then he gets his hand ready for the next time round, and Anivari just puts her hand up, and it just stops dead in her hand. And a few of the group make an actual cheer over the other side. I will take an insight check, please, from anybody who is proficient or has a passive insight of 14 or more.
I'm proficient.
For reference, oh man, that one. For reference, how this spell looks, because I think maybe I have cast it before. But his like shadow like stands behind him, and very slowly, like one hand, like the arms go round, and one hand softly is placed on his cheek, and the other on his forehead, and then that's when he starts feeling.
Okay, because I think last time you pulled them backwards as if lying down.
Yeah, but he's not fully asleep, so
No, that makes sense. So is it just Weary and William who are capable of rolling that insight check? It's very difficult to see who led the applause, but it's sure as hell everyone who doesn't like the Baron. And welcome to the court politics. Next time out, we will move things along a lot more quickly, and you'll be able to choose what you're doing. But I wanted to just give you a very focused insight as to who the players are and what's going on here. But over the course of the afternoon, you were asked to watch Loco. So I would like each of you to choose one of the following 3 checks to determine what your character might gain from what's going on. You can choose between making a perception check, making an insight check, or making a culture check. If you don't have the culture skill, it is a charisma check.
Each of us.
Yeah, each one of you can choose your own thing. Tell me what you're rolling and roll it.
The only thing I have a positive in is perception, so that's a clearer choice for me.
Yep. Perception for Dinari.
I didn't really spend much time around him, so I guess I'll go culture to more see everyone else.
Which circle he sits in and what's going on with that, yep.
I guess I'll go insight.
Okay, you'll take the insight. So we do have somebody rolling each of the 3 things. Great.
Yeah.
Did you just roll it, or was that your previous roll, that insight?
No, that was my previous roll.
Okay, so we'll start with Bumpkin. You started perception. What did you get?
What's a little bit?
Did you roll a dice or
6.
a brick?
No, I just kind of
thunked on the desk. Fuck this
I didn't put my
6.
heart into it.
No, you didn't. You spent a lot of time next to Jaloko, and honestly, he seemed quite nice. Like, there was really not all that much going on. He didn't seem anything other than a little awkward and a little out of place, but trying his best. William, you made a culture check, is that correct? And you got
I rolled a 15.
15? Anivari, did you also make a culture check?
I did, but I rolled a 7.
Okay, great. So you're irrelevant. So we'll just go... I'm just taking the higher of the 2 because I've only got things for each of the 3. So I'll take what you get with the 15. Jaloko seems to be much like our tieflings here. A bit of a novelty, appealing to some, and he doesn't seem to follow the rules, the society rules, and some people really like him and support him because of that, and others stay well clear of him. One thing you did notice, especially with Weary being around him, was that Solomon seemed to be the ultimate trend follower, the rule follower. He was the one who sort of followed the current the most, and he seemed dead set on avoiding Jaloko completely. You had a question?
Okay. Yeah, completely separate. What did we get for winning the game?
Hold off on that. I'm getting to... I'm just at Weary's insight check.
Got one.
It's a 21.
Oh, highest DC possible. You wouldn't get any more than this without an nat 20. So, you notice a few things. First of all, he seems nervous around the women of the court. All of them, without exception, including the tieflings that have just joined. Around the males of the court, he seems competitive, but determined, as if trying to seek a point. Every time Henson was around, he seemed scared. Not scared of Henson, but almost scared of Henson's presence. And indeed, a few times you did note that slightly odd things happened when Henson and he were in close proximity. However, you did spot that one other person was present each time this happened. And that person was your little friend, Remfrey. All 3 of them were present at all times. You'll have plenty of opportunity at the feast. However, at the end of the game, the prince sort of says, well, congratulations. Well done, one and all. As the winner, Anivari, I am afraid you've got both a prize and a penance. The prize is, I would like to gift you something. So, we have a jeweler in town, of whom I'm very well acquainted. I'll make sure you have a little credit there, and you can go and pick out a piece that suits you. And your penance for such a prize is I insist that you sit at the roll table this afternoon for the feast. Will you accept?
I mean, it doesn't quite feel earned. Genuinely, it sort of seemed handed to me. It wouldn't really be fair.
Some things in life are not. You'll sit at the roll table, of course. And with that, he sort of smiles at you and nods. You'll see as he goes off, Jackson will follow him. Jackson sort of stops and has a little word with him just before the Crown Prince leaves the room. And then Jackson comes scurrying over to you and... Anivari, if you'd like somebody to join you at the table of your choice, one of your friends or somebody else at the conference table, so you don't feel alone and isolated in such a situation, you're more than welcome to choose someone. Probably not all three of their friends. It's the best I could do. I'm sorry he put you on such a spot, but... Well, when Eamon wants something, he tends to get it.
I noticed.
You guys did really well. In fact, you did really, really well. You may take 250 experience points. This is for multiple things, so I am going to list them, but first of all, I'm going to turn off this damn music. Okay, so the first thing, I've not split them into individual XP things, I've just racked them up and you've got a score, basically. So first of all, none of you directly answered the question where you're from, which genuinely gave you a good score. You did really well at dancing around that. None of you directly offended anybody. None of you participated in a game that it was inappropriate for you to do so. With the possible exception of William, who played daggers but stepped out really quickly. And Weary, who played daggers but stepped out really quickly.
I was going to do it, but you never offered.
No, indeed. He was trying very hard at William specifically, so when William didn't, it sort of got you off the hook. But I knew that you might have gone for it. You also obviously did quite well at discovering things about Jailoco. But you're also very quick to isolate the big players and also some of your own supporters who maybe you don't know exactly who they were, but you got them on your side. So for that 250 experience points, I also had rather a lot of fun. I hope you guys did too. Elora, when we get out of the day, so when the evening comes and it ends the following morning is when you'd be able to claim your jewelry prize. It should be mentioned that all these jewelry pieces are enchanted, but not in particularly useful manners for somebody of your ilk. So you'll get something cool, I'm sure, but it might be a bit odd. But that is where we are going to come to a close, and we will come to the timeless tradition of MVPs, which seems to get harder to say every time I say it. And we'll start with me, because I'm the best. We'll start with me because I feel like it. Okay, somebody's leaving. I had a couple of small ones. I really enjoyed the sort of very dynamic tension between the Baronet and William. I can always rely on Josh. If I put a contentious NPC anywhere within 150 feet of him, he will try and start a direct competition with him. So that's really helpful. And on complete polar opposites, both Dinari and Anivari's handling of Amacinth, who you were just gently polite to and kind of ignored. Which I really enjoyed. So those are my two minors. My absolute major MVP and my D6 for the day goes to Jack for just turning around and just going, I don't care what happens, I just don't want Solomon to win. Or interfere. Like, just fuck that guy in particular. But it wasn't even like a big player, it was just that guy in particular. You really didn't like the way he stepped in front of Jailoco, and you took exception, and I fucking love that. Jack, your MVP for today.
It's definitely going to be Josh's use of when he's like, I'm going to I think you subtle spelled minor divination to be like, I'm really going to I'm going to use all my resources to make sure that everything goes exactly how I want it to. And I love that super creative. I never think to do something like that. That's it's awesome.
Well, also, I had the fucking nerve to turn around to the prince and be like, cheating's not my thing.
I know. Mate, you were all over the
place. It seemed
today.
He didn't mind who cheated as long as they were trying to ruin the Baronet's day. I do also like the fact that you mentioned being creative, but I do also know that Josh sits there looking at his spells going, how can I use these today? How can I use these today? Like, he likes to, use the kit, the magic. So that obviously works out very well in this sort of situation. Josh, your MVP.
Kind of what you said, James. It was really fun and interesting seeing the players of this city. I don't know how far out their power stretches, but it's definitely interesting their relationships with each other, and definitely the kind of seeming leash that is on the Hewlin's neck.
Yeah, from Amacenth, his gambling
Yeah.
problem reveal. Oh, I completely forgot about that. The gambling problem reveal. Sorry, you can take an additional 75 experience points. I didn't know that in my score. That was quite a big scorer. So, yes. Well done for prompting me. There you go. Bumpkin.
Well, kudos, I mean, goes to you first, just for being able to organize and of everything that was going on with.
Do you know what? I couldn't.
Or, like,
I couldn't organize it. I was so unsure. I said to Josh, it was too much to try and predict in advance. So all I did was list down 35 names, 3 races, and a couple of games. And then the rest of it, I just flew by the seat of my pants. So I'm glad it seemed organized. It bubbled away because you cannot. It's when something's this big, there's that many NPCs in the room, and you don't know what the players are going to do. You can't plan it. So I'm glad
being
it's
able
not
to roll the
organized.
punches that well, and also I like that last little tidbit of squeezing that extra thing of like, hey, Dinari seems to be having some really bad luck right now, because I, like, again, on the fly, I put myself with Jaloco, and then just as usual, I rolled like dog shit. Like, you know,
Just dropping
so
a
making
hint.
those things- it was nice.
Good. I'm glad. Elora.
So my first really little one is rolling 17 again. Yeah, Zac Efron.
You can only thank Michaela for that.
just-
She did that.
that
She did that
moment.
to me in Soulforged about 2 years ago, and it's stuck with me the whole way.
So the other one was for that whole "why are we whispering" conversation. That was just
That was-
completely gold.
Yeah, it was
I
so
absolutely
silly and
love
so
that.
much fun.
But then the top line was between William and Hewlin, and when William won
2 for
the needle
2.
game, and he just goes 2 for 2, I suppose.
Yeah.
That
beautiful.
was cold, and I loved it.
And dangerous. I just.
Yeah.
How long will William live? Who knows? But yes, I think you guys did great, and I really enjoyed the episode. But that is where we're going to end. So if you guys would like to say goodbye,
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
we shall see you soon.